Hi guys, it's Wendy here from Wendy Wise Beauty. Thanks for stopping by and for visiting, for spending some time with me. Today I am going to review 3 Guerlain exclusives. The first one will be their latest release, which is NEROLI PLEIN SUD. This one was released I think about 2 months ago if I am correct. And then I will do my final review of Tobacco Honey, where I have already introduced this on this channel, but it was a first impressions review, and I will again be looking at Angelique Noire. Anyway guys, this is going to be very exciting. I mean, the exclusive line from Guerlain, they would have a release every couple of years, but lately, since Delphine Yelk has been on board and the nose behind these fragrances, I mean, they are dropping like Aqua Allegoria. It is a bit strange, yeah, because exclusive should be exclusive, but let's get into it. I picked up a sample of Neroli Plein Sud or Neroli Facing South when I purchased the latest concealer from Guerlain, which is the Terracotta Concealer. This review is already up. I normally order most of my products directly from Guerlain. This way I can always choose exclusive samples and I can spend time with these fragrances at home and get a really good sense of the actual scent and really spend time with them. This is not a fragrance you are really wanting to buy blind or buy in a hurry. Neroli Plein Sud, this fragrance, it is described as an amber floral for men and for women. The marketing behind this fragrance, I mean, what makes this fragrance special, the juice, it is the orange blossom which comes from a special area in Morocco. There seems to be a bit of confusion, or I think errors, on some fragrance websites where they are stating that the orange blossom in this fragrance is coming from Tunisia. Actually, the orange blossom, it is coming from Morocco. I am taking this information from the Guerlain website and I assume that it is correct. Anyway guys, the top note of this fragrance, it's ginger, turmeric and cinnamon. These notes might lead you to believe that this fragrance is spicy. Actually, it is not. The opening of this fragrance, it is not harsh, it is not abrasive, it is quite well blended. The ginger and the turmeric, it adds a bit of freshness to the opening of this fragrance. The cinnamon, it's a bit warming, but this is not at all spicy. It is not what you would expect from these 3 notes being combined together. The opening, it is not the most, I would say, feminine opening. There is a unisex touch, but then it mellows down. I think it is probably the combination of ginger and turmeric. It is a very beautiful opening. It is sunlight. It is a beautiful opening that imparts a sense of well-being. I have had a bit of time to play with this fragrance, and the opening is by far my favorite part of this fragrance. In the heart note, there is neroli and Moroccan orange blossom. The orange blossom appears quite quickly, but it is soft, it is beautiful, it is ripe. The neroli, it is there. I would say it does balance and work very well with the orange blossom, but to my nose, there is a lot of this yummy orange blossom accord in this fragrance, and it does work very well with the spices. This fragrance, it is very well blended. The base of this fragrance, it is vetiver and sandalwood, and this also gives a bit of a masculine touch, but I would say it is again right in the middle, and I think it leans more feminine than masculine. When you look at the notes, it's turmeric, cinnamon, ginger, vetiver, sandalwood. It does sound like you would think that this fragrance would be overtly masculine, but it is not. And also, it is a very soft fragrance, and it does wear very close to the skin. There is not a lot of sillage coming from this fragrance, or projection, what it is called in certain parts of the world. It is very wearable, and I can see this fragrance being worn in all types of environments. The orange blossom in here, it is very well controlled, and the vetiver and the neroli adds a bit of freshness to this orange blossom. When I smelled it, I said, oh, this is a beautiful fragrance. It is a lovely fragrance, a fragrance that I would get a lot of use out of. My issue is that I just cannot place Neroli Plein Sud in the exclusive line. Had this fragrance been placed in the price range, let's say from 100 to 150 euros, I would have bought a full bottle a long time ago. I do have a lot of Guerlain exclusive fragrances. These are fragrances which are very complex when you smell them. They are fragrances where you say immediately, I don't have this in my collection. This is not a fragrance I can pick up somewhere else. The price starting at about 350 is justified because this fragrance is so overtly special. It is a beautiful fragrance, but not a fragrance that I am willing to pay 350 euros for. Let me look at the website. Is it starting at 350 or 325? Yeah, I am looking at the Guerlain website. This fragrance is costing 100 milliliters, 325, and 200 milliliters, 465. For me, this fragrance should probably be in the normal Guerlain fragrance line, or probably as an Aqua Allegoria Forte, yeah, the stronger line in Aqua Allegoria, and these are about 130 euros. Honestly, guys, every time I try this fragrance, I like it more and more. And depending on your taste in fragrances, I know there are a lot of people who would willingly pay the 325 or more for this fragrance. If you have this or if you have tried it, please let me know. It could be maybe in a year or so, my taste in fragrances might change and I might spring for this, but most likely I think I will end up getting a decant of this from decant websites, maybe a 10 milliliter. But 325 euros at this point, I cannot justify. The next one I am going to review. It is also from the exclusive line, and this is tobacco honey. This is my third sample from Guerlain of tobacco honey. This fragrance belongs in the exclusive collection of Guerlain. When you smell this fragrance, it is so different, it is complex. When I smelled this, I immediately said to myself, I don't have this in my collection. I do have other honey fragrances which are always too sweet, or you get none of this honey note, or I have tobacco fragrances which are just too masculine, too strong, and not wearable. This was for me love on the first sniff. The top note, it is honey, cloves, and anise. This one, it does have a bit of a spicy opening. What captivates, it is this beautiful, lovely, delicious honey note which is combined with spices. The anise is very present and the clove, it is a bit subdued. The tobacco note, it appears really in the heart note a bit later, and it is quite present in the dry down of the fragrance. The heart note of the fragrance, it's tobacco, it is tonka, vanilla, and sesame. When the tobacco note starts to appear and it combines with the honey, this is a very special fragrance. It is a fragrance which has a real honey accord. Like I said, there are a lot of honey fragrances out there, but what you get is an explosion of sweetness, and this honey note, it is never real honey. The dry down of this fragrance, it's agarwood, oud, and sandalwood. I do not sense oud, the traditional oud note in this fragrance. I do sense quite a bit of sandalwood very late on my skin, a bit of woody, tobacco with honey. The honey note in this fragrance does remain, it lingers, it is always there and combined with this lovely tobacco. This fragrance, it is very well formulated. It is a complex fragrance, very well blended. Due to the manner in which this fragrance is formulated, it is a lot more versatile than it should be. I probably would not wear this fragrance to a meeting with customers, but I would wear it to the office. And definitely this is a fabulous fragrance for wearing in the evening time and a great fragrance for cold weather. And also when worn in cold weather, the potency of this fragrance would be a bit muted. This one, it is potent. It does have quite a bit of sillage or projection. I am very careful when wearing this fragrance to dose it quite stingily, you can say. I mean, I do not and never do more than 2 sprays, and I normally put it on my hands and then I will dab it on my neck area and on my wrists. This is not a fragrance that I would spray with abandon. This is what I expect when I buy fragrances from the Guerlain exclusive line. Then it might not be a fragrance that you can wear, spray with abandon, but it is something different, something you cannot go in the department store and find 3-4 clones of this fragrance. I have not picked up a full bottle of this because I do order quite a lot from Guerlain, and I have been picking up samples of this. I will not get a decant because this is a fragrance that I definitely want in my collection. I must mention that this fragrance, it does get a bit more masculine in the dry down phase. Of course, you have a bit more tobacco note in the dry down. I would not buy this blind. This fragrance needs to be tested over a couple of days on the skin. It is not a fragrance for everyone. The next fragrance that I will talk about, this is Angelique Noire. This is a fragrance where I have had multiple decants because when I tried it in the past, it was a nice fragrance. I wanted to wear it, but I was not sure if I wanted a full bottle because it was, for me, maybe a couple of years ago, our taste in fragrances changed. It was nice, it was lovely, but there were other exclusives that I loved a bit more. I have been getting samples of Angelique Noire in the last couple of months, and I have finally decided to pick this up. This is a very beautiful rendition of the Angelique note. It is more of, I would say, Angelique on the dark side. This is not your traditional Angelica fragrance. This fragrance came out in 2005, and back then we all spent our time on the fragrance board of Makeup Alley. And this fragrance was loved by so many people. At the time, I was really loving Angelique sur la Pluie. This is an Angelica fragrance. It is from Frédéric Malle. I did love this very much. This one was more of an earthy Angelica, and it wore very close to the skin. It is also a very beautiful Angelica fragrance. But Angelique Noire, let me see. The top note, it is Angelica, pear and pink peppers. In the heart note, there is jasmine and caraway. And the base note, it is vanilla, Angelica and cedar. It is now a fragrance that I am really loving. I am really enjoying. And I have finally decided I want a full bottle of Angelique Noire. Normally I I always think of Angelica as a fragrance for going to church, for church ladies, with the exception of Angelique Noire. I have now made a complete turnaround on this. This is why, guys, I always say to a lot of people, if you have a fragrance that you are not liking at the moment and you have space, it does make sense, you know, to move it to a cold cellar. I mean, I see so many people, I have also done this myself. There's a fragrance, you do not like it, and 1 year later, 2 years later, you smell this fragrance and it is exactly what you are wanting. Anyway, guys, this is it for this Guerlain review. I hope you find this to be helpful. Please remember to subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and let me know if you are thinking of picking up any one of these fragrances. Tschüss!